Okay, episode 2 of getting the Warhammer Quest Darkwater box set painted up. We're going to be focusing on the awesome new Bretonnian Knight. And as per usual, a huge thank you to everyone out there that supports the channel. You guys are absolutely incredible. Please do continue to watch the videos, like, comment, and make sure you're subscribed. Those things cost you nothing, but they make a huge impact on how many people see these videos and how quickly the channel grows. And also, if you're a member on Patreon, you get a whole host of extra benefits. Private Discord access, we do community showcases, we do painting competitions, we do extra episodes of the channel every single week. We give you a podcast and we do giveaways. Last month we gave away a Knight. This month we're giving away a Real Space Raiders Dark Eldar Battle Force box set. So if you want to get started with Dark Eldar or expand an already existing force, make sure you check out the Patreon and subscribe to any tier apart from free, obviously. Thank you guys so much. Let's dive in and get this awesome Bretonnian Knight painted up. So this is Edmark Valoran, the Manticore Knight. So a little bit of information about him as a character inside of the board game. Edmark Valoran believes himself to be the greatest mortal champion of the armies of Hammerhal Ashki. For all his arrogance, the so-called Manticore Knight has a fair claim to the title. And yet Valoran's remarkable lists of military achievements has been marred by recent disgrace. During the Knight's previous campaigns, a chain explosion sent several splinters of raw Ashki Realmstone launched through himself. Instead of laying him low, it caused Valoran to enter an elemental rage that ended with him slaying not only the foe, but also several comrades, unlucky enough to get in his way. The experience has left Valoran embittered and isolated, willing to risk everything in the pursuit of redemption. He remains afflicted by the Emberstone-riddled flesh. His body erupts into flames when he reaches the height of rage, burning anyone nearby who would do him harm. So he's a very interesting, a very cool knight. He is definitely a Bretonnian Knight, although it's supposed to be set in the mortal realm, so in Age of Sigmar, but I prefer to think of it more as an old world board game. That's just me. As you can see, I'm doing my orange and black scheme, which I do for my Dogs of War. I also do it for some of my Bretonnian Knights. It is a fairly standout scheme, and because this is the particular character that I want to play when we play through the board game, I decided to paint him up in a way that suited me. So obviously I started by spraying him a nice kind of a bone color, a gracier color, and then we started with the base coats. We started with, of course, the orange contrast and then black Templar contrast. And we're picking and choosing different areas of the model to be orange and which ones to be black. So for instance, with the orange, he got his huge big cape. He got the outer layer of wings on his helmet. And then he's got like a quartered shield, so quarter in orange. And then there's like 2 layers of skirts. The bottom one went orange, the kind of higher one went black. An interesting thing to note is the helm atop his head is supposed to be all gold. A big golden kind of manticore head and then big golden wings. I think this is just a random hunch, but I think the designer of the miniature intended them to be more feathers, and then when it got to the painters decided to make them all gold. Because the weight of giant golden wings and a golden manticore head on top of your helmet must throw off your fighting abilities. Whereas a small little emblem of the manticore and then some actual feathered wings, I think makes more sense. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. Do you think I'm wrong or do you think I'm right? I also think it looks better in the orange and black scheme, and then obviously just the center of it being gold. That's just me. This model is quite simple to paint. Like I said, we did orange, we did black, we did gold, we did silver, and that's it. There's all the base coats. Time to shade the model. We're going for a Reikland Flesh Shade, and we're going to apply this across the entire miniature, head to toe, and wait for that all to dry. While it's drying, I'm going to do a little bit of work on this model's base, getting it ready for some dry brushes and tufts later on. But there's no point in wasting the time of it drying when I can't be messing around with some texture pastes. Okay, with that shade fully dry, it's time to go into the layering stage. And for this, I am actually returning to the Two Thin Coats range of paints. So Rust Orange, Fanatic Orange, and Orange Flare. It makes up a triad of colors that builds a very beautiful, very vibrant orange. There is obviously a conversion guide, so if you just have Games Workshop paints and you have no interest in getting any of the Two Thin Coat stuff and you want to follow along, you can of course grab the conversion chart and get something fairly similar to this result, if not exactly the same. So don't worry too much about that. I'll be doing the same thing with the black. I'll be using some Two Thin Coats range for that as well. The main reason for that is, like I said, this scheme is something I've already been working on. My Dogs of War are this scheme, and there's a couple of units of my Bretonnian Knights in this scheme, and these are the colors I used, and this is what I wanted to replicate. So with the Triad, the first coat, we're going to apply basically like an 80% coat on all of the orange areas. So nice big sweeping streaks with the brush, making sure to leave the recesses nice and dark with that contrast and right flesh shade. And basically just hit all of that kind of higher points. And just like I said, take your time. Don't get crazy. Just figure out all the bits that are supposed to be orange. On each of those individual feathers on his helmet, for instance, I took my time and I made sure to highlight them carefully, leaving the gaps between the feathers nice and clear. And then we jump up to the mid-tone here and we go from like 80% coverage kind of all the way down to like, I don't know, 40% coverage with that. As you can see, leaving behind some of those previous colors and hitting once again those kind of higher points. It really does make quite a big difference to the model. It doesn't make such a big difference until you get to the very last stage, which you're only going to go for like 20% coverage with that. But that is such a stark jump in color, and it's what really sets that orange color off and makes it pop. You can see it start to be applied here, and it is quite a difference. And you will see in a moment when the entire piece gets revealed in its final orange form that it is quite beautiful and it works out really well. This has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that orange is my favorite color, and I will try and use it in as many projects as humanly possible because it makes me happy. So yeah, so like I said, go through, be careful with all those wings, be careful with the quartered shield if you decide to do such a thing, and just enjoy the process. Each and every one of these models from this board game are absolutely beautiful pieces to paint, so take your time and enjoy them. So here is the orange all done up, and like you said, I think it looks really cool. It's quite staggering and will look really cool getting pushed around that kind of bleak battlefield of Darkwater. So Dungeon, Stone Grey, and Doom Death Black. Doom Death Black being the first one, and Dungeon Stone Grey being the final highlight, is what we used on all the black sections across the model. Obviously the inner part of the cape got done in black. He's got 2 ribbons coming down from the back of his helmet. I did 1 orange, 1 black. Inner section of wings is done in black. The kind of separation panels between all the armors is done in black. And then he's got 2 skirts on. I don't know what they're actually called. I'm just going to call them skirts. The kind of highest, most one is done in black. And I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. I'd also love to know your thoughts on what should be the next miniature I paint from this set. I think I'm going to go like hero, one of the bad guy mobs, hero, one of the bad guy mobs, hero, bad guy, you know, that kind of thing back and forth. So we did the Demon Prince as the first video, we did the Knight as the second video. So what do you think the next 2 things should be? So the next bad guy thing and the next good guy hero. Please do let me know that in the comments below. Whatever gets the most votes will be the one that I work on. I do intend to do as many things as I possibly can from these videos, and that is only possible if people watch these videos. So if there's low interest in the videos, not a lot of views, not a lot of comments, then it means I will have to abandon that and move on to something a little bit more popular, such as more Space Marines and stuff like that. So if you would rather see more of this stuff, please do make sure you engage with it, share the video around, make sure that you're liking, commenting, making sure you're subscribed. Those things really do help me decide what to do next with my channel. Ironbreaker was obviously then used for highlighting all of that beautiful polished armor that this guy wears. Usually I just go back to Leadbelcher, but like I said, this is quite a named, proud knight. We're even going so far as to use Liberator Gold to highlight all of the gold parts of this model. Once again, to make it look polished. His equipment is pristine. He is a noble knight. He has been on many glorious campaigns. He is up until his recent mistakes or injury, which caused him to kill some of his friends and fellow soldiers. He was very highly regarded, so his equipment would be fantastic, and I think that definitely does translate across when you look at this awesome miniature. This is the final result of this guy. Edmark Valoran is now finished, ready to be put into the Darkwater board game and used in battle. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this miniature. Like I said, please don't forget to let me know what else you want to see from this box set done and what you want to see done next. I hope you've enjoyed the first 3 videos, and I hope to make many, many more in the near future. Thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.